Sadie, you're no stranger to social media bullying. You're very open and honest about it. What's something that you experienced hate-wise on social media that really stuck with you?
I think I've noticed that no matter what you do, you're gonna get hate on it. That's just how the internet is, sadly. Like, there's always gonna be a negative comment, and so you kind of have to be prepared for that. But I think the hardest thing that I've dealt with for me is like when I feel like I'm doing something good and then people just like tear me apart. Like whenever we went over to Africa, when we got back, we got so much hate for helping another country and not helping our own. And it's so like crazy because then in your mind, like I guess if I didn't know who I was, I would be like, well, should I even be doing this? Like, what am I doing good? Because you start thinking like, are they right? Are they not right? And so that's like been hard for me. And I see other celebrities who it does drive them crazy. And for me, like, gosh, it would be really hard if I didn't have my family because just to have them have my back.
You gotta have sort of this sense of identity that rests in,
Right.
in something else besides all of that. What would your big piece of advice be for someone who isn't a celebrity but is dealing with social bullying?
Well, you know, before I was a celebrity, I definitely dealt with bullying in school too. And my brother would always stand up for me, which I just like love that so much. And so I think like be the brother, you know, be the person for your friend that does stand up. And like he said, like, don't be the person that just stands by and watch because every action has an equal and opposite reaction. You just got to start a new action. You just got to get in there and like get it done.
Change that flow, which is important, from negative to positive.
Yeah.
And go comment nice things on other people's pages.
Yeah.
Spread the love, you know?
Spread the
That's
love,
like the
That's
easiest way to battle the hate.
Yeah.
Put more love out in the world.
People are quicker to do a negative comment than a positive comment, sadly.
I know, very sadly. Nico, now you're very open and honest online and in general about your sexuality, being sexually fluid specifically. Were you nervous when you first decided to put that out there about the reaction you were going to get from people in your life and also online?
Yeah, I mean, of course I was nervous. You know, as an actor, there are very specific guidelines set up of how you're supposed to handle yourself, you know, in this industry. And I've kind of never stood by them. I've always just beat to my own drum, I guess, and lived the life that I've always wanted to live and have been unapologetically myself, you know, and I think that's the only way to handle it.
What's your reaction, your first reaction when you see some sort of hateful comment?
It hurts first.
Yeah.
I mean, absolutely, that's the first reaction. And my second reaction is to block and delete, just like Alfonso said, you know? And more importantly, like I said, just to go say something nice to somebody else, you know?
You know, there's such a tendency, you know, for all of us to just want to be part of the crowd, to be, you know, under the wire, that anonymity, which can sometimes be dangerous because people act out because of that. But what you did, I think, is so courageous, and that's what we really need to work on, being courageous, going to Africa to help people, talking about your sexuality, because it really is about giving back to everyone on this planet. And I think we can begin to change that energy from where we have all of these trolls on the internet to people who really care. It really can be a great force for good.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, Sadie, you've been a huge advocate of being yourself, living positively. You actually started a tour called the Live Original Tour, which is really incredible. What inspired you to originally start this tour?
Well, I wanted people to just be confident in who they are as a person. And as, you know, like he said sometimes, you know, you don't want to say what you really are because there are guidelines to acting in a job. For me, like for being a Christian, people immediately judge that and they don't want to do that. And so I think no matter who you are, you got to go one way or the other. You know, you got to stand up for yourself. And so for the tour, I wanted people to just be who they were originally created to be and just express their purpose in life because their purpose is going to do so much more than trying to copy somebody else's.
Yeah. So now the tour's over. What was one of the most memorable moments from that tour? I know you engaged with people a lot, right? Like you had a lot of interaction with fans and people dealing with things. What sticks out?
Well, that was the whole purpose because I wanted to take it off of social media and really get to know my fans, not just as followers. And so it was really cool. But I think one of the I guess I would say two. So one, it was like we sold out in Birmingham, which was really cool to be our first show sold out. And just to see the people at the very top we were worshiping, just their hands up and tears, just like crazy to see the movement, even at the balcony. It was really awesome. But then another one that will stick with me, when we were in New York. So every other place we went to, it's in the South. So, you know, we had a lot of people there. But in New York, it was the smallest amount by far. But we knew we needed to come. And this girl came up to me and she said, "You just really changed my life," because a lot of times I think we forget to have positivity in New York because it gets kind of dark sometimes. And she was like, I needed that boost. And she said, "Don't give up on New York. Y'all need to come back next year."
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
That's